Let's say that you now want to write a little application to keep track of patients for a medical office. So we have our main class here. The first thing you think about is, well, I'm going to need a patient class. So I want to keep track of patients. Each patient is going to have a name, a height, a weight, and say the number of visits, number of times they've been to see the doctor. So let's create that class. We're going to hit the C button. We're going to create a new class called patient. And we're going to add our data member. So we're going to have the private string name, private height, which is going to be, say, an integer. And this is going to be the height in inches. So we want the height to be just one number. It's going to be in inches. Private, let's say in this case double for weight. Weight weight in pounds. And then the number of times patient has come into the office. Visit. So you see that I made all of these private. Right? So what that means is now I go back here, I can create a new patient. Patient P1 is new patient. So I can do that. But then if I try to set P1's name, I can't. Right? I can't do that because it's private. So what I can do is I can create a getter and setters. This is a standard practice in Java. You'll say public set name public void set name string name, and this dot name is name. Okay, so there's a few things going on here. First, the void keyword. This is the method set name, which takes an argument which is called name and returns nothing. So that's why we use the keyword void, because this is not going to return anything. And then within we just run this line. What this does is it uses the this keyword, you see right here. So this refers to the instance. So we're going to say this instance name to be this name. You see there's this variable here called name. There's another variable here called name. They're different. And the way we can distinguish them is within this method. If I just say use the word name, it's going to refer to this variable here because it's closer. It's more nested block, so it's only this block. So to refer to the name that's one block up, or this variable here, I have to use this dot name. So the keyword this is simply refers to the instance, right? So go here, say this. I'm sorry, p1 dot set name and Bob. So that's how p1, when we run this method here, is going to call the p1 instance of the patient, and the p1 is right here. This refers to, in that case, p1. So that's how we refer to an instance. To make that more clear, if I go patient P2 is new patient, right? And then I say P2 dot set name Jill. So Jill is a different patient. You have P1 and P2. These are two different patients. So when I call P2 set name, I'm calling the same method, right? Set name. But when we go P2, when P2 calls set name, this refers to P2. When P1 calls set name, this, the word this, refers to P1. That's how that works. So that's the keyword this. And that is how we create a new instance. Okay, see, also, along with the set, I probably will need a get public string get name and return name. So you see we have a private name and then two public methods. One is set name and the other is get name. Set name takes an argument and sets name to that, and get gets it. So this seems very wasteful, right? It does work, right? So now if I wanted to print out Jill's name, I can just say p2.getName, and that should work. So it'll print out Jill. As you see, we just ran it. So it seems wasteful, but there's a good reason why we do that. The main reason is we're keeping name private, so that means we're not allowing anybody else to change the name. And that comes useful many times. So, okay, we got two more methods, three more of these. So we're gonna need some set and get methods for those. I could type those in, but Eclipse has this nice method, the thing that you can do if you're lazy like me, you can go under the source and then click on generate getters and setters, and then say, okay, I want one for height, for this and that, and I say okay, and it easy just generates all that code. So now I have height, I have public get height, public set height, get weight, set weight, get number of visits, set number of visits. Doesn't put them in order as such, but they're there. Okay, so that was fun. Now, for the height. So we have the height, and the height is in inches. So, for example, one reason you might want this is maybe you want to make sure that the height is never less than 0. Right? That makes sense. So you want to guard against that. So we're going to say you don't want negative heights. That's impossible, right? So you can say, well, if height is bigger than 0, then I set the height to be that. Otherwise, I'm not going to do anything. Right? So now when you're guarding yourself, so you're guarding against somebody, maybe you, maybe somebody else who's working on your software. You're guarding against the possibility that somebody sets the height to a negative number. And you can probably do that with the weight also. I'm only going to change the weight if the weight they give me is bigger than 0. Right. Another thing you might want to do with the height, for example, the height here is in inches, but generally people like to give height in feet and inches, right? So you don't say I'm 70 whatever, 70 something feet tall. You say, well, I'm 5 foot something. So we can write another set height method. Notice this one takes 2 arguments. It's got the same name, but the first one, 1 argument. This one takes 2 arguments. One is the feet and inches, and I probably should write some Java doc for that. Number of feet, inches. So, and then I can, what I actually want to do is call set height with feet times 12 plus inches. Okay, so you see what we did here from this set height function, I called this other set height method, and I'm passing it the height. This one was the height in inches, in inches. And so I'm just calculating, the number of feet times 12 plus the number of inches. So if you give me 6'1", that's going to be whatever. I'm going to calculate it and set the height appropriately. So let's go back over here. We can do P2 dot set height to be 5'3", and then says out dot P2 dot get height, and then I can run that, and then yeah. So 5'3" is 63 inches. Okay.